If you try to go on Amazon or to a local PC shop and ask for a budget configuration to play at 1080p decently, they're gonna give you something exactly like this. So today, we have a double objective in this video. First of all, we want to see how bad basically the PC gaming industry currently is. And we also want to see if you really have to buy something like this because you have to have someone build it for you, or you're building it yourself, but you don't want to buy used components. So you actually need brand new stuff. How you can build the best version of an entry-level 1080p gaming system in 2026 during the GPU shortage and DRAM shortage at the same time. So with that said, welcome back at ImWateringPSUs and let's get started. Now the whole thing is we are basically forced to build on a DDR4 platform because the pricing for AM5 motherboards and CPUs or Intel Core Ultra CPUs and motherboards, it's not bad at all. Matter of fact, it's very good. But the RAM is so expensive that you're basically forced to buy AM4, unless you're considering LGA 1700 from Intel with those modified laptop CPUs, which I covered on the channel, and that's going to be a very big reason why I don't love this configuration. This is basically what you have to get. And today we have a B550 from MSI, micro ATX motherboard to really replicate what the shop is going to do for you because they don't care about going full size, with a Ryzen 7 5800X. Now this is going to be within 2 or 3% margin of error to a 5700X, so no big difference there. But it's going to be very far away from an X3D version of this. If you can find a 5700X3D or 5800X3D build for sale for around the price of a non-X3D one, definitely get it. You can expect to get about 30% more performance in gaming compared to this. What we have to do at that point is actually go out there and buy some RAM. Where do we buy RAM? Well, currently, basically only on AliExpress. And what I got here today is some KingBank RAM. It's silver, it's not RGB, but it's 3600 MHz with decent timings. And KingBank, I've used them on the channel a lot and they make very good stuff. You enable the XMP with one click, or the XPO in this case, and you're good to go. It's good RAM, chips are made from SK Hynix, it's reliable, and you can still buy for decent pricing online. So that has my full recommendation and it's why I went with it. I also think the silver look is pretty cool, but really you can't be too judgmental with what you buy, but make sure you get 3600 MHz RAM. That's the key. I did some testing. This is nothing new. If you've been in the gaming industry for a while, you probably know. And if you run an AM4 CPU with no XMP or with a bad XMP, you're losing so much performance compared to running 3600 MHz, where you set the FCLK to 1800 and everything to 1 to 1 to 1. So the MEMK, FCLK, and the UCLK, everything synced up at 1800 MHz is how this platform is intended to be running. So that's the first important thing. The motherboard doesn't really matter. You can buy a B450 as well, no big deal. But hey, if you can buy a brand new one, they're so cheap, you can buy one for around 80 bucks. I think it's no problem. If you really want to extract some performance out of this, you're gonna need to do some undervolting, which is why I refreshed my undervolting and overclocking tutorial for Ryzen AM4 in 2026. Now, if you want to do some undervolting for performance, where you basically force the PBO to run higher, you're gonna need some temperature headroom. But we are on a budget, so we can't slap an all-in-one on it, even though all-in-one pricing is very good. So what I'm testing here today is the Site Fuma 3. Brand new cooler from Site. They have been around for a long time. They were making air coolers back 10 years ago that were very good. And they finally came back with something that's pretty unique. So it's a dual tower air cooler with 2 fans included, and one fan is half the first fan because its only role is to basically help pushing the air. And it still manages to stay silent and to cool very well, even though the fan is so slim. The 2 aluminum pieces are not made equal. There's a bigger one and a smaller one. But this very cool design actually makes the installation very easy. You can use it even with taller RAM. As you can see, it doesn't interfere at all due to how it's built. And it's also pretty tall on the socket, so the VRM heatsink also doesn't interfere. So this is truly a universal cooler. I love it. And with this, I was able to get a nice 20% more performance on my CPU. So it's money well spent compared to a stock cooler. It's maybe an extra 40 bucks, but it's genuinely money well spent. It's also super easy to install and extremely quiet, actually quieter than the GPU. You literally cannot hear it while the PC is running. Now, another bad piece which we need to buy is the SSD. And in this case, I somehow found a Crucial one. As you know, Crucial is a sub-company of Micron and they closed their consumer division. They're now selling only to other companies. So this is basically what's there on the market. I have nothing to say about the SSD. It's very good, but you guys probably won't find one for sale. Just get any NVMe drive you can find nowadays. Gen 3 is also fine. Yes, we are at that point. The market is that bad for SSDs currently. But where we can actually make a nice, interesting, smart buying choice is on the GPU. So 16 gigabytes models are so much more in shortage compared to 2 gigabytes model. Unfortunately, the lower VRAM tiers are also going up in price, but they're still decent. So my recommendation for you, even though I like NVIDIA drivers and I tend to prefer NVIDIA cards, the best value for money currently is the RX 9060 XT 8 gigabytes. Okay, this one is a power color Hellhound model. I think I also reviewed it on the channel in 4 minutes. It's a very good model. It's very cheap, and as long as it is this cheap, basically costing less than a 5060 but performing a lot more than a 5060, you should definitely go ahead and buy one. I will quickly show you guys the Firestrike score. And as you can see, the performance is definitely there. However, but we'll keep that for the conclusions. If you compare this to my overclocked i7 from AliExpress and 4060 build, this is not the best. Now, good thing about going with these components is they really don't draw any power at all. So you can buy a bronze PSU, no problem. Even a 550 watts is gonna be fine. Here today we splurged a little bit. We got a 650 watt from FSP, a Vita version. It's pretty good, non-modular unit. Nothing to say about it, it works fine. And we also went with the new Thermaltake View 290 TG ARGB, pretty long name, but basically it's a tempered glass curved case. Nothing special really, just get whatever case you like. Don't spend more than 60, 70 bucks on the case for this tier of performance. So with that said, how does this build perform? Well, if you're playing at 1080p, you can play at Apex Legends and comfortably hit the 240 FPS mark. However, you're not going to be able to sustain that in more intensive games. For example, in Warzone, we have serious trouble even hitting 200 FPS. The absence of X3D Vcache on this CPU really shows us how much slower in IPC this is compared to a 14th or 13th gen Intel CPU, unfortunately. As much as I love Ryzen, this is not the best gaming CPU. You still get a very solid 8-core 16-thread chip, which allows you to do multitasking, streaming, and productivity no problem. It's still very good for gaming, but it doesn't give you the edge for competitive gaming. Now, if you go ahead and undervolt it and overclock it, you can get some of that edge back, but it's not going to be the same as a native X3D chip. Still, this configuration is absolutely amazing for non-competitive titles and single-player titles, even at 1440p, surprisingly, with a little bit of upscaling maybe. And so if you buy something like this during the shortage, even though you have an older architecture with a no longer active platform, which is not going to be updated, which is going to stop its support early, this is still something you can buy. I don't think it's a smart buy currently in 2026. I wouldn't go out there and build something like this. If you can avoid it, I would wait, or I would build something different. And that's where the comparison with the builds we usually bring on the channel come in. For around $600-700, I can put together from AliExpress a build with an engineering sample laptop CPU, which has more core, is a lot faster in productivity, and also a faster IPC, being faster in gaming, is less RAM dependent, and also requires less cooling. So I don't see why I would build this, if not because, again, I want to buy everything brand new with 2 years warranty on it. Also the GPU, even though I like the 9060 XT, I think it's great value. You can buy a used RTX 3070, which is going to be faster and honestly just a better card overall. If you're willing to put the time to clean it and repaste, it's much better buy. And even if you want to buy something a little bit newer, an RTX 4060, which is definitely slower than this, you can buy for about half price, and that's money saved, which you can invest in the future for an upgrade when pricing comes down. So no, I wouldn't really buy something like this, but if you have to build it, definitely get a good cooler. This Sightfuma 3 is great. I think it's a good buy. Get some RAM from AliExpress. Don't overspend on RAM from other places. This Kingbank RAM is one of the few kits available currently. You can definitely buy it. Definitely don't overspend on your case. PSU, go on budget. Also motherboard, don't overspend on it. Basically, if you have to build something like this, try to spend your money on the GPU and try to save money everywhere else. With that said though, if you have some different advice, please drop a comment down below. I'm very curious. I love what you guys tell me all the time. And also if you watched the video this far, drop a like, subscribe, give the video hype. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.